Boom. There it is.
Hello. We're just on my Instagram for now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. Johnny, what's up? Thank you for joining. All right, so Devin, I want to talk, you got your red light on like in a way that's really nice. The lighting's hitting you in the right way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I gotta turn mine up. I'm seeing this, new cutting edge scalar technology on your Instagram, and I'm like, I need to talk about this on Instagram Live with him so everyone can tune into this because this is incredible.
For sure. Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with, you mentioned Tesla a lot. Like, do you know how it came about, this understanding of what scalar technology was in the first place?
One of the epiphanies he had looking at his work was actually gazing into the sun on a hot sunny day on a beach, and he saw how it rotates at a particular way. And he took that ideology and applied it to some of his stuff, even before scalar technology came about. And he was just one of those great minds that followed natural law. And that's a simple,
talk about that a lot.
yeah, that's a simple way I could put it of how he got into it.
Okay, so before we get into that more, can we talk a little bit about natural law? Like, what is that for someone who has no idea of what natural law even means?
Yeah, so natural law is literally the natural occurrence of nature, of how it moves, of how it communicates, of how it interacts with its surrounding, its environment, and the animals within it that lives within it, including us. And breathing is just one of those bases of natural law itself.
So this guy is a first contact specialist, someone said. Yes, he knows all things with the breath, natural law. So what are some principles of natural law that, off the top of your head, kind of, if people know them, it leads them to lead a better life? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. One of the first principles, like what has been here longer than man itself? The sun, the air, the wind, all the natural elements you could find that create even our human genetic makeup, and has a huge role on how it affects us in that regard.
So is the natural law basically to live by the land, what's on this earth?
Not within this earth, not just here on the earth, but literally it goes beyond the fact of what we quote unquote see, right? And that's when, things like morals and things of that nature start to come up within a human psyche, right? So
you said things like morals? Is that what you said?
Oh, morals.
Oh, morals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, natural law is saying that when you live life in homeostasis with your environment, you naturally are in alignment with natural law, which gives you the perfect divine moral code, right?
Exactly.
Oh, wow. And that's a little difficult in today's times, though, isn't it?
Big time, because the more man has strayed away from natural law, the more we start hurting the earth, the more we start being greedy as a people, the more we start hurting each other, and all these domino effects that comes from that.
So I know you're doing scalar healing right now, right?
I'm doing remote scalar healing. So someone would just send me their picture, and even before we put it on the scalar wave, we even have another blueprint.
Yeah, bring the blueprint over here. Let's see this. Devin, someone said you're the 7th hybrid. I don't know what that means, but it sounds really good.
7th what?
7th hybrid.
Hybrid. Oh, I've gotten that before. So this is one of the blueprints. So the basic
geometry, you just feel it, just looking at it.
Yeah, and this comes all the way from ancient Egypt, Ethiopia, and the hieroglyphs that you may see in certain temples and stuff of that nature. And what they found was those specific geometry has a connection to our human genetic DNA makeup. Even this symbol alone, this one right here, I've seen people literally put it on a TV and the EMF rating goes down. Just this symbol alone, because they understood, they overstand the fact of how, these natural
Wait a second.
currents.
So you're saying a pattern can intercept an electromagnetic field of energy? You're saying that?
It goes beyond the electromagnetic field. It goes into scalar, which is a total different aspect of it, because scalar is more, you could say it's more quantum. Let's just put it out there. It's definitely within the quantum field, and that could have quote unquote gave us free energy to the point where I really had a feeling that Tesla wanted to get to the point where he wasn't just talking about cell phones. He was talking to the point where the air, the atmosphere, we can communicate via thoughts without a physical device.
Can I tell you something, Evan? Tesla wanted energy to be free. He didn't care about money. And when Rockefeller heard that, they took his idea and they locked it in a safe because they didn't want humanity to have it for free. They wanted to, be the ones in control and have all the power and money and make people pay for electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So wrong. It's so wrong that it happened in that time, but I'm so thankful people like you are just spreading this awareness, because something inside me tells me we're gonna have free energy one day, just as he created it to be,
Exactly. He literally went broke, I think, over 10 plus times. He's been a millionaire 10 plus times, and the reason why he went broke is he literally put all his money, all his resources back into his work. Just pushing it.
Yes. So someone said, do you think our intent has a part to do with the symbols?
Oh yeah, for sure. It amplifies it big time. It amplifies it. But going back to the natural occurrence of some of these natural sacred geometry or patterns, they tell an even deeper story, and some of them have different functions. So it's just like our inhale. Our inhale, we inhale the life force energy, the lungs, quote unquote, reads it, and then functions based on it. That's why the way you breathe affects the way you think, the way you, quote unquote, manifest as well. And literally everything I talk about alchemy literally ties into, now I'm learning myself, scalar wave. It just makes more sense when you tie into breath mechanics and scalar waves together. And that's why I even put, when someone does a remote, I give them YouTube links, private YouTube links to frequency breathing, and utilizing that to help amplify the effects from the scalar wave.
Wow, that is incredible. So anybody watching, do you guys have any questions? Anyone have any interesting, ideas about the scalar energy, or maybe joining Devin's program and trying it out yourself? I've always been a little bit skeptical about healing from a distance. I don't quite understand how that's even possible.
So let's look at the sun. Right. The sun is actually based off scalar.
With the analogies, okay.
Technology always goes back to natural law. Scalar, if we're looking at quote unquote harmonizing with nature, scalar wave technology is the closest one, in electromagnetic energy where you have to keep on plugging and sucking in from the earth always. That's more away from nature, if anything. We're always just taking from Mother Earth, just constantly ripping away from the resources, versus scalar wave, it's permanent. It's literally a permanent energy within the field. And if someone has a type of illness,
the scalar wave goes with the frequency of the planet, whereas the other ones that we're using right now, like the electricity that they didn't use Tesla's, they used someone else's, that electrical wave actually causes dissonance between our flow and the flow,
Exactly. And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to power the world, because the frequency of the earth is already there producing the scalar wave energy that it does. And then when you turn on your own device, it then harmonizes. And we could have had phones, or beyond, going back to what I was saying, the atmosphere itself could have been so heightened where our thought process could go to this person a lot quicker, and all these different things that scalar wave will, I truly believe scalar wave will one day actually come back pretty tough, and it's going to shift humanity for the better. If it's not this lifetime, it's definitely a couple lifetimes, but it's definitely in the trajectory of where we're going to head, because
Yes.
that's what we need here.
100%. I'm going to go through some of the questions that we got. So one is, thoughts on monks taking a vow of silence and not needing to talk concept.
That's off topic.
It is very off topic. Do you want to answer it or go into it a little bit?
Yeah, it actually ties into the topic, actually. I'll go into why. So that vow of silence, you then start to build up a frequency where less people, quote unquote, know the sound of your voice in their subconscious. So think of it, if you see a person, you're taking mental photos. So when I hear people saying they're scared of cameras and stuff like that, well, what about the mental photos that people see you on a day-to-day basis? That gets stored in their memory in that sense. So when someone takes a vow of silence, energy-wise, and we can tie into Scale the Wave and go into it, when someone takes that vow of silence, they're holding that frequency for such a long time that in the minds of others, it starts to, hey, I forgot what that person sounds like. I forgot, unless they recorded it, obviously.
That's
but
so
they're gonna sound they're gonna sound totally different though whenever
That's
they.
So interesting.
Yeah,
that's really. So do you think that somehow that's actually almost like a way to recharge your battery?
Big time, yeah.
Okay, so that's probably why they do it, and to get in tune, because talking is, you're exerting your energetic force, and for monks, they want to have their intuition tuned in and feel, and so when they talk less, they're more in that flow too. Right?
The most highest powerful mantras, when I learned about mantras, and my friends, they're monks themselves, and I've seen them do some crazy things I don't think I'm gonna talk on camera about, but what I've learned in that field is it's better to say the mantras mentally rather than going outwardly, because
you give away that power.
Exactly, and you're recycling internally versus shouting it out.
That's amazing. See, I love to talk because I love to share, because I like for others to grow, but like 100%, there's a lot of merit to that and doing that. Okay, someone said just drink it. Cheers. Drink what? We don't have any drink. Someone said, can breathwork fix an underactive thyroid?
Oh, big time, yeah. I have a bunch of, if some people are new here, I have a bunch of testimonials on my YouTube, Devon the Black Airbender. It's all there, all different types of diseases, illnesses, you'll see. Breathwork is a powerful tool.
Yeah. And it's one of our body's natural functions. 96% of our body is made of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. So that means within the foods that we need 96% that to be comprised of that. So breath work is like a no-brainer. What do you do when you breathe more? You're supplying your body with more oxygen, which is what it needs,
Yeah, and you can assimilate more nutrients from whatever you're eating or whatever you're drinking, even more.
Because your blood flow, right? So to
Exactly.
move properly. Yes. So key, Devin. For people who maybe they don't know you, maybe not everyone from your channel's here, maybe you could talk a little bit about what got you into this journey in the first place, because that's super interesting.
Yeah, so I literally lost everything to a business partner years ago, and that's when I met my Sifu at the time.
He's gonna get his karma, let me tell you.
And yeah, that's where my journey started. I took everything I learned in Bigu and mixed it with sacred geometry.
Wait, real quick. What's Bigu? Just so.
Oh yeah, Bigu is a Taoist energy practice where energy cultivation in the body, where you don't quote unquote need dense food at a certain point in time.
And so from that point, you just started doing it for yourself first, and then you said, you know what, I'm going to teach this to other people too.
Yeah, no, it went straight to family members next, and then family members that had friends, it went to them, and then it became word of mouth. Even before I came back to social media, people literally were flying me out. This has been a whole week with them, help them fast, help them with the breath work.
Get right, get balanced. And it's crazy, like when I was in Texas with you at that conference, people were almost like fangirling over you because you created this brand for yourself. And growing up, one of my favorite shows was Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh.
No coincidences, And you're kind of like the real life airbender, which is awesome.
Oh, just bending the ethers here.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's see. Hello, everybody that's joining. How to flow into breatharianism with all the cravings. I know you got this one in the back.
So
you know exactly.
I highly promote learning how to breathe first, even before learning how to fast, because you build a mental foundation. That's one, and that the breath is a connective force to how you perceive things and your mental clarity. And that's a big thing, even when I work with people who are anorexic, and it helps big time. So I would say start there.
Awesome. Do people call you Seven, Devin?
Seven? No.
Devon? No? Okay. People keep calling you Seven in the comments, so I'm just like,
I don't know who's
I know that I don't know. Yeah.
Seven.
Seven. That's a good. Let's see. Someone said, how much do you charge for healing sessions?
Which one? The remote one?
Which there's a lot. He's got like 30,000.
Yeah, there's a lot. But it's really all on my website, alchemybreath.org. It's all there.
But they are very affordable, so it's not an argument. Yeah.
I'm also one of the few people who would breathe with you for a whole year.
Right. Someone said I have an overactive thyroid. Honestly, I always feel like that's a blessing. I don't think it's creative, but I'm like, that's amazing. Okay. Someone said inner hydration equals disease. Don't worry, Devin, I won't keep you on here too long.
Oh, no, it's all good.
Oh, you don't mind? Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, good. So we caught up with everybody there. Let's see. Anyone else have any other questions that we could ask Devin? Yeah, they need to make a feature where you can just like take a little pointer and scroll down. That would be amazing.
One day.
Yeah.
We're not too far.
Yeah.
I think scalar wave, literally, if the more you dive into scalar wave, the more you understand that you could do a lot with it. Not just remote healing. You can even take someone's business logo and put it on there and generate healing frequencies. I done that for a past client when they saw me started to do this. Like, oh, I know what to do. I'm like, okay, you get it. And he sent me his logo.
That's amazing. Someone said, how can scalar be measured? You have a video on this on your page now, right?
Yeah, but they did it even with the sun. They call it scalar electromagnetic, solar electromagnetic scalar, or it's the other way around. Solar scalar electromagnetism. Magnetism. They literally, there's a bunch of readings and findings on that they tested out.
What if I just wanted to go out and measure the scalar tomorrow, though? Like, what can I do?
So, in my opinion, I feel like scalar in itself is also the closest thing to our understanding of biophotons in terms of chi, prana, ki, that technically really can't be measured. You know, they even did it with my Sifu, where he can like generate fire from his hands, and there's literally no electricity. They bring electroid things, and there's like no electricity coming out, but yet he's generating heat, and that heat is the eternal life force that is that quote unquote God, universe that cannot be measured.
And you know, that's a really good point. You know, science, I think sometimes people forget that science is all about experimentation and creating hypotheses around a certain situation, but it's not necessarily fact. There's so many scientific theories that get proven wrong over time, but people think because it's science, then that's the end all be all. But really, science is just trying to explain and quantify things in this universe, you know? And a lot of times they're wrong. Yeah.
I'm blowing a lot of people's minds in the labs over here in Miami when they're testing me. So, yeah.
Amazing. In what ways?
Huh?
Someone said I have a question. Sure. Please write your question.
Write it out.
Someone said, can you elaborate, Devin, on some of the ancient technology you've been utilizing? Hee. I love the hee.
Someone called there, but 1 second. Oh, okay. In terms of ancient technology you've been utilizing, there's the symbolism, that's one, the hieroglyphics, and some symbols, some ancient symbols that they use. So when you utilize these ancient symbols, and we're also bringing it into biogeometric breathing, when you harmonize it with your breathing, you can target, let's say, a particular organ or a particular ailment that you have in your body based off the symbols. So what I do is I literally would also print someone's photo literally on top of this as well. And that amplifies it. And going even to the flower of life or the eternal lotus of life, that is literally found within every atom, every geometric makeup. So then when you add the scalar wave over there, when you add it on, it then amplifies the frequency being emitted out into the world. Think of literally the Matrix, how Neo got to see Agent Smith and he had a bunch of ones and zeros. And then if you look at a plant, you'd have a bunch of threes and twos. So from here, let's say I put a specific plant onto the scalar wave, and it'll emit to that specific plant, the 3 and the 2.
And what it's emitting is exactly what the plant needs. It's basically giving the plant the energetic information to properly nourish it. Right. Exactly.
Honestly, they have used scalar in a disharmonious way in terms of the news and things of that nature. But now we can utilize it the opposite way in terms of utilizing it for healing. And that's what Tesla wanted in the long run.
And that's the thing, like most of the planet is in a state of disease because of all the disharmony. Like when we talk about invisible forces that are going against us, we're talking about the EMFs that are literally creating chaos in our system energetically. Like
it's more than that.
Right. But that's part of it. And like even with the 5G, the reason it was so dangerous is because it's such a heavy frequency. It's not natural to us. So it's making people's hair fall out. It's making, people feel crazy because we're not used to it. Yeah.
So I don't think I ever said this live or publicly yet, but all the way down to aura photos. When you see aura photos, you're not seeing electromagnetic energy. What you are seeing is literally scalar wave energy. It's more than magnetic energy force in that aspect. What you're physically seeing in terms of whatever you deem as your aura, that is scalar wave energy. So people who are really deep into auras themselves will also tell you your aura carry Akashic records and different history all the way going back to your past lives. And that is how powerful that signature within, quote unquote, our spirit emanating out to our Merkaba, the aura, or energetic force.
How can we get a more powerful aura, more like solid aura?
Just harmonizing more with nature, that is.
Yeah.
And that's what the function of the scalar wave does. It literally showers you with more of a harmonious essence of energy that will harmonize with your aura.
Wow.
So that's also another way. If someone out there does aura photos and they want to do a before and after, hit me up. Oh yeah, we can actually do it with you. You're close to New York.
What do you mean?
We can do a before and after. So you can go take a picture of your aura right now, and then I'll take a picture of you, put on the scalar wave, and then
oh my gosh.
see what happens after.
I need to do it like now because I'll be there in 2 days.
Oh yeah, you're right.
After this live, text me.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Speaking of the Akashic records, Devin, could we go into that a little bit? Like, tell everyone exactly what it is in a short sentence to summarize.
Yeah, so some people may deem the Akashic records as a quote-unquote energetic, a quantum quote-unquote library that has a connection towards
every single thing that's ever happened.
Exactly.
All is written. It's never invisible, so it's watching. Right.
And it even goes down to always back to the double split experiment where you watch and it splits. When you don't watch, it stays. So who is watching the observer? Watching the observer.
And that's what we don't know yet. Even scientists don't know. Right.
We don't know.
Yes. Is scalar a type of energy healing? I know we got into it, but maybe you could just say again so she knows. Someone said, hello, my light bring workers, sending love and light, high vibrations. Thank you so much. It's appreciated.
Much love.
Devin, someone said dogs can see your aura. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, all animals can see your aura. Even before they smell you, they can, if some of them have the eyes, hopefully they're not sedated with It depends on your pet, how you feed your pet.
It's true.
Yeah. But yeah, they're very in tuned for sure. All pets are, all animals are.
Yes, they're living in a different frequency than we are. So there's different types of frequencies, like some really high level psychics, they live in different frequencies. And that's why time for them is very different than our way of thinking of time. And so the dogs, the frequency they're in, they see things that we don't see, including the auras.
That even ties to scalar wave. Scalar wave, the whole philosophy or the ideology of what scalar wave is as well, because scalar wave moves in one direction. If you were to quote unquote slow down time or reverse time, the scalar wave energy would actually go the opposite direction, and anti-clockwise.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with that. That sounds crazy. Wow. I need to learn more about scalar.
Oh, when you come over, we'll be talking for hours. You already know.
Amazing. Okay, amazing. Amazing. Let's see. Someone said, "I love this. We are watching ourselves. We're all mirrors to each other. We're each a reflection of God observing itself, you know? And that's why I'm always so big on treating everyone really kindly, because you're connected to them more than you could ever know, you know?
Yeah, and you don't know what someone is going through at the end of the day. You really don't know.
Yes. And like the impact that you can have is so incredible. You giving one person a compliment that say they were just having like the worst day of their life, that might make their day so much. They go home and they're nicer to their family and they have like 5 kids and now all those kids have a better day and like those kids have friends and it's just like, what? Now we've touched 10,000 people from one compliment, you know?
And that even ties into the mirror neurons itself in scalar wave. So mirror neurons is literally the neurons.
You're always finding a way to get those scalar waves. I love it.
It always ties back to it. Like I can do with any topic really, and that's just being in a natural, just honoring natural law as much as possible. Hence the breath, life force, God, universe, however you want to describe it. But yeah, our mirror neurons communicate via bodies more than words. And those mirror neurons also ties into your aura, how your aura is reading someone in that sense.
Mirror neurons? Right.
Yeah, mirror neurons.
Well, they mirror what you see, especially when you like the person.
Oh yeah.
And that's
you'll notice a lot with couples. You'll notice a lot with couples how some of them, you know, as they grow into each other, they're kind of alike from here. They'll finish each other's sentences here and there. Yeah.
I love that. I love that for us humans. It's amazing. Like, imagine if we didn't have mirror neurons, because we like people who are like us. That's just human nature. It's not like narcissistic. It's just, of course you love someone if you love yourself, if they're like you. That's just how it is, you know? And so I feel like that's kind of like a survival mechanism in a way, because then you guys like similar things, so you get along better, so then you survive life. You know what I mean?
Big time.
Yeah. Big survival energy. Let's see. We are all God trapped in these vessels, just waiting for us all to awaken. Thanks for your time. Have a good day. Thank you if you're not gone already. Respect the science of carbon. Word.
That's what alchemy breathwork is about. Carbon. It's more about the carbon than the oxygen.
Really? Why is that?
Because you need carbon to help bring the oxygen to the brain.
Okay. So when
you can't do without the carbon.
In that process, is it when you exhale?
It's when you exhale, yeah. If you can build up your CO2 tolerance, but more so the power of your exhales and the different characteristics of what your exhales can bring as well, the more connected you are in terms of building up carbon. That's also in your shoulders in terms of carbon buildup.
Oh man, we have a carbon.
Yeah.
Like a coal, like 2 coals right here.
Yeah, so when you go hiking up a mountain, you won't need that oxygen tank as much versus someone who doesn't work on it.
Good to know.
It's all about how efficiently you can use your breath. It's not the more you breathe, the less you need. It's how efficiently you can breathe, the less you need.
Right, and define what efficient is. Is efficient long, slow breaths? Is efficient quick, like instantaneous breaths? Like, what would you say efficient is? Is it balanced breaths, moving at the same speed and rhythm?
It's not that simple. And and that's why alchemy breathwork has over 100+ different ways of utilizing just the nose. But it goes into just the basic form I can put it into is the fact that the more connective resonance you can have with your exhales, the better. Point blank, period, in the sense of simplicity, for the sake of simplicity.
So the exhales are actually more important than the inhales.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay, and that's because when you exhale, you're releasing oxygen.
Well, you're also
So
creating.
come in.
You're creating patterns that, and that's technically the filter before the inhale, right? So then you can filter the pattern that your inhale will come in, of how it will come into the body. Because like I was saying before,
that's how you get that control, right?
Exactly. That's what I was saying before, in the sense of how life force energy comes into the body, and then the lungs reads it, and it has different functions based on how you're breathing.
That's so interesting. Do you know how many different ways it can come in for the lungs to read it? Like, could you throw a couple examples? Is an example like this person's panicked, this person's relaxed? Are those what you mean when you say that, function-wise?
Yeah, that one too, and just literally playing with the breath in different ways. Just a mere sound. If you can actually silent your inhales, we can do a simple one. Just silent your inhales and just be more audible on your exhales. Just do a couple breaths like that. You feel the difference there versus just a regular inhale and exhale, right?
Yes.
And that ties into the audibility and how it takes it in auditory-wise.
That's so interesting. You know, for me personally, the best breath work of all the ones I've done is the threes.
Oh, the threes? Yeah.
Like that one, I feel the DMT and the, like, I don't know, I feel wavy, you know? It's very fun. Let's see. Breath is life that connects us to our higher selves. That's 100% true. And your higher self is also your subconscious. They're in connection. That's your God. That's when you listen to that, you're divinely in the right places at the right time doing the right thing. And that's a really big misconception in society. Sometimes people talk about it being separate, but it's not. Those are definitely connected. Yeah.
Right.
And that's also why breathwork's so good. It literally is getting you in flow with the divine.
Yeah, if you literally replace spirit with breath in every quote unquote religious text or ancient text, it starts to make more sense to the average, to someone who's just like opening text like that. It does. And one of the oldest dictionaries literally defines spirit as breath.
What about like the spirit of Jezebel, for example? In the Christianity, they call that spirit. She's like, she doesn't like men. She's just a feminist, basically. That's what the spirit is. So if we replace that breath of Jezebel, what does that just change to?
Well, they say breath is life, right? That's the pattern that she's resonating on. Okay. That's what she's breathing life into.
Right. Yeah. And then how does one release those spirits, if they're caught up in them? A spirit of manipulation, a spirit of anything, you know?
Oh, but by shifting.
Or the breath of.
Yeah, by shifting the way you breathe, in the sense of being more homeostasis, quote unquote, back home, versus a sympathetic, which is fight or flight, frantic, panicking. You're technically also living, when it comes to anxiety, you're also living in the future. You're living for the past. It's like chasing the breath of the future, and you're chasing the breath of the past. You can't. There's only now. There's only here.
Only now.
Right here.
Yes.
That's home. Exactly.
Yeah, and you know what? Reading, I know it seems like a corny book. I mean, it seemed like a corny book to me, but The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle is a really good book. So, highly recommend reading that.
I grew up reading that one. When my mom was big into Oprah, that was like one of the books she made me read.
Oprah said to read that book?
Yeah, Oprah had him on a lot of times on her show.
She's amazing. Love her. Awesome. That probably was a big foundation for you too, to like subconsciously start coming toward the breath. And after that, you know, business endeavor happened.
Oh yeah, big time. One of the main things I was asking myself during my first session with my sequel was like, oh man, how was I breathing all those instances in time with my business partner? Pretty shallow, pretty frantic.
Wow.
And going back to, you know, thinking of the future, chasing breaths of the past, literally that's where my mind was.
Right. Someone asked, can breath work and fasting reverse hair loss?
Oh yeah, big time, for sure, for sure.
Do you know how?
Well, it all ties into blood flow, point blank, period. And you also take away. There's also emotional aspects of that as well. Maybe this person may have been into porn, and karmically as well, if you want to put it that way, that's stored somewhere in your body. That's creating blockages going to your hair. And
yes, that alone. As long as you have the new healthy,
yes,
right, whole foods, or don't, you know, have juices, whatever, and do breath work, and you're probably going to start generating the right things. Definitely.
Exactly.
Someone said, why do you think we have so many religions, different philosophies, and so many energy healing systems? I want to say something, and then I want you to chime in after, Devin. So I've actually thought about this question a lot, and I think one of the big reasons is because life is so multifaceted. You know, people always want a simple answer, but life is not simple. We humans are not simple. It is and it isn't at once, you know, like the Hermetic principle.
Mm-hmm.
But how could you possibly have such a simple answer for every single person when there are so many different cycles and chapters of life that we're in? So I think these things are all tools, and when you resonate with it, you're in that frequency and it's meant for you at that time. And so when you follow that without judgment, don't judge yourself, don't box yourself into being constricted to a religion or a philosophy, because you're forever growing, you're forever changing. What works for you now may not work for you in 2 years, and that's okay. When you get these systems trying to keep you in their reins for money, that's the problem, and that's where the manipulation comes in, the lying and the control, just like all of life. And that's even like with the relationship. You know, sometimes you guys just grow apart naturally because you're growing and you're on different wavelengths, and you need to just allow that and move out of that relationship and go into something else, because that's normal. Just like the plants grow, we grow. And so when you try to constrain growth, that's a recipe for devastation. And I think that's why there's so many different ones, because we are multifaceted beings. We're multidimensional beings too. We're not just one-dimensional. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to top that, but that's why
I need to get that out.
That's why I always personally say that the breath is still teaching me to this day. Even my sequel took that one. It's like, oh my God. So just to add on to that, yeah, God, if you want to call it God, the all that is, however you perceive that, how can you perceive it as a limiting being, or not even the word being, you know, way beyond my comprehension, actually. So yeah, there's no limitations to that, you know, in terms of, you know, you hear different stories, redemption stories, even within the Bible, so many redemption stories, right? If we had such a quote unquote limiting God or limiting aspect of God, then everyone would always be in one state of mind all the time.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, God is breathing through us. You know, we're part of God, if you want to put it like that. We're part of the whole universal aspect of it. And that is what helps us be multidimensional beings as one, and help us experience these experiences moving on and on and on and on.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Love, love, love. Someone said, you've awakened me so much to the importance of breath work. Thank you. Huge letters. Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Seriously.
Oh, much love.
And, you know, as a thank you to Devin for doing that, if you could just put someone else onto breath work, that would be amazing. You know, we could just keep that going.
Exactly. I even have, yeah, I guess this is a great time. I even have a breath partnership, because I have so many people that are new here. If I see that, you know, there's rough times ahead where some people are standing up for what they believe in terms of their bodies and stuff of that nature, definitely check out the affiliate program, the Breath Partnership Program, and that may be another source of income for everyone out there. And, you know, maybe someone may not be perceptive to the breath aspect, but at least they may be perceptive to the remote healing, and you both can benefit from that as well, and share that, and also get paid from that as well. Yeah.
Right, which is an amazing thing. And I just want to say one quick thing too, like if there's ever someone, you know, because I know a lot of times on our journeys we can get really passionate about what's working for us and be like, oh my gosh, like everyone has to do this. But the fact is, like, you have to let people unfold as they do. And I know you know this, Devin, very well. I'm just saying it for people watching the live, because it's like almost a mistake to try to push that on others, because only when they're ready will they open that door. You know, you can plant the seed, and there's never anything wrong with planting the seed. The seed is so powerful, but never try to make someone sow it. Let them do it on their own time, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of, like, good things are never forced, as they say. And that's also harmonizing with the natural flow of things, where you can see things flowing more naturally rather than you're forcing things all the time.
Yes, yes. They say, like, when you're in flow with God or the divine, everything is smooth. And then when you're with your ego, it's very choppy, and there's a lot of problems that come up, you know?
Yeah.
So when that's happening, that's a good way for you to check in and be like, okay, what's going on right now? Like, why did I have like 10 things go wrong today? Maybe I'm in the wrong flow. Do some breath work. Let's see. Okay, someone said again, can breath work help with hair loss? And Devin, I know you answered this already. If you wanted to
Yeah, I already answered that already.
Yep. Said yes, because it helps with blood flow, and then you get nutrients, and then your hair grows. Yep. Let's see. Life is simple. Breathe. That's what someone said. 100. Breath is everyone's religion. Well, everyone practices it every day, and that's a discipline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's a #1 religion.
There we go. Someone said, I believe they all share valuable information. The downside is that people are always fighting over which is the right path instead of learning from them. 100%. And that's the divide. And that's, yeah, we got to snap for that. And as long as you can understand that, that's amazing. You know, that's huge. And you know, the reason is because when you have a belief, your brain and your ego hold on to it so much, they want to fight for it. So when someone goes against it, it's the automatic response. It's to just combat them. And that's the key when we can, like, understand information from multiple viewpoints, even if it goes against our current belief system, and take it in, because there's a reason people are thinking what they're thinking. It's not coming from nowhere. And maybe when you really listen and understand them, you'll be like, okay, I could see why they think that. I have compassion now. I'm not so combative with them, you know? So, Devin, someone said fire breathes, water breathes, earth breathes, air breathes. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, everything is, quote unquote, nothing is, quote unquote, stagnant, right? And the fact that nothing is stagnant, everything is moving at a molecular rate,
right, so
says that there's definitely an inhale and an exhale happening simultaneously, even to the inanimate object.
Yes, and like, you know, they say in life, do you know what the one thing that never stops growing is? It's cancer. Cancer.
Oh, cancer, yeah.
Yeah, and so when you are always trying to grow, exhale, you'll get sick. And so, like, even us, we gotta breathe. We gotta retreat sometimes. Inhale, and then go back out into the world, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And I think humans forget that we have that rhythm too within us, just like the fire, the water, the earth, you know?
Exactly. So something to tap onto those type of cells. So what scalar wave can do, it's not how do I put this publicly? It's not something that's going to eradicate it. What it does is it transmute it, because energy cannot be destroyed nor created. So that's what scalar wave does.
What is transmutation for people who don't know?
Yeah, transmutation is literally changing from, you can look at it as one element to another element or another genetic component where it's more harmonious. And that's what's happening with people that have all different types of illnesses utilizing Scalar. And that's what's happening to the genetic makeup. It's becoming and creating a more harmonious environment in their body. Thus, it's also changing their cells as well. Even in Chinese medicine, we look at your aura and we can say, all right, that organ needs help. This organ needs help. That organ needs help, because it's echoing, going back and forth, and as above, so below. Same thing applies. So as we can literally look at our aura as scalar technology in itself, and even in the Bible, also alludes to certain technologies that's being used even within the Bible. There's one in John chapter 5 that says the angel came down and stirred up the water. And I'm like, that's something to really look into, because all the way down to the Ark of the Covenant, Moses' staff, which had crystals and apparently was made of different metals, apparently. It's like so many different aspects of it. But going back to transmutation, that's really what's happening from one alchemical substance to another chemical substance. In this instance, cell to cell, but the cells will have different functions when it's shifted and changed in a more harmonious fashion utilizing scalar waves. So if you're someone out there that is worried they got something in terms of a foreign object, I'm not going to say it here, and they're worried about their DNA being messed up in a way.
I'm so bad at keeping secrets.
Being messed up in a way, then this is a powerful tool as well. And I also want to reiterate, you don't want to just rely on that one tool. And that's why I put frequency breathing as well. That's what you get as well. So you can do that throughout the day as, we start to put your picture on the scalar wave as well.
Someone asked a question. I know this is off topic, but I do want to answer it with you. So they said, how can I help myself retain information? I feel like I get so much and I can't remember it all. So I'll say something and then you could say some things too. So one, Summer says, _Oracle, you want to make sure you give your mind time to process. So like if you read a whole book in a day, you didn't even retain any of that. You need to go to sleep. I know it sounds funny, but like you need to go to sleep and let your body like subconsciously process it at a deep level, because it's not instantaneous. And say you were doing that, right? You read that whole book and you're trying to retain it. You wake up the next day and you're already doing something else. You can't do that because you need to give your neural net time to form. So you need to make sure you're properly letting yourself process at a deep level, because nowadays we're so superficial. We read, skip. We never have time to really process information to get that deep understanding, which is like when you really know and you can take that into life, So, and Devin, what would you like to say too about that?
Let's say you're watching a very, very long video like this, you can just take one piece of information, utilize it, and then rewatch it again, and watch it again, and then watch it again.
Yes.
That's also a great way to doing it, including books as well. When you're reading a book, you can reread the book again or reread that chapter. That also helps.
Repetition.
Exactly. The repetition is a beautiful way. Like I said, what you do frequently is your frequency.
Yes, I love that saying. And I love that we're just sitting here pouring life into everyone on this live. Like it's all good vibes. It's all about getting better, getting healthy. I love this. I love this a lot. Let's see. How do you feel about being a breatharian, Devin? That's what someone asked.
Honestly, I'm
he
more.
Hates it. He's like, why do I have to do this now?
No, I'm more of a human than a breatharian. I like to say when someone asks me, "Oh, you're Jamaican," I'm like, I'm human first, and then I'm labels after.
Right, spiritual being, yeah. Which, by the way, it's super cool that you're Jamaican. I love Jamaica. I love the people. You guys are so grounded and like just relaxed all the time. So
when we go as like a whole family with Jen, you, me, and other people, yeah. I got to bring you to my grandpa's mountain. The clouds are literally like touching you.
I'm excited. Yeah. I love Jamaica.
A lot of people don't know that there's mountains in Jamaica. They think it's just flat.
What kind of mountains are they? Like, you know how some mountains are gray and some are more tan, like in Arizona versus like...
oh, no, it's lusciously green. It's jungle mountain, for sure.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
Jungle mountains without the lions and stuff, I guess.
Wait, there's lions there?
No lions. I said without the lions.
Oh, okay. Devin, do you think that if people change their true God appearance, they are in fact in their ego, shadow? These are all question marks, he said. Are they able to preach a message so pure? So I think what this person is saying is, do you feel like when people are in tune, they're speaking from their ego or their shadow, or speaking from a real place? Yeah. I hope I said that right, Elena.
I'll speak for myself. I truly believe if you speak from your heart with intention, it literally speaks for itself.
That's the huge thing that even like scientists are coming to talk about now, how your heart has intelligence that your mind doesn't. And so this knows everything. Did you know in ancient Egypt, they actually used to remove people's brains if they had huge brains? I'm not kidding you. Because, no joke. Because it was such a burden. That is literally so crazy, but like, it's a testament to just knowing you need to listen to your heart, you know?
Yeah, I've heard of that one before. It's so funny. I'm like, oh man, I haven't heard that one in a while.
Thank
you for bringing that up. That's funny.
Since your last incarnation in Egypt, right?
Oh man, but yeah, even down to the heart. People need to know as well that the heart literally has white matter that you can also find in your brain. It's your second brain. Well, you have 3 brains. You have mind, heart, and your stomach. In my opinion, you have 4 brains. The skin itself is a whole brain.
Right, and this is your most sensitive organ, and it absorbs everything. So all those lotions with all those chemicals, they're disrupting your hormones, people. Please stop using them, okay? That's why...
Oh, yeah. I always wanted to talk to you about this, but you also use natural makeup, right? Like, I think I saw one you were using, and it was actually made out of raw, organic, like, ingredients. I don't know if that was you.
When did you see my makeup?
I don't know. I forgot when, but...
Okay.
Or maybe you posted it. I think you posted it one time. I'm not sure.
I can't remember.
I think it was like eyeliner or something.
I have to be completely honest. 50% of my makeup is natural and 50% isn't. And the 50% that isn't is just the part that I can't find that, like, for example, the organic or the natural makeup black eyeliner that I've seen, it always runs. And I just can't having that, you know? So I know it's not good, but I need to make my own, you know, makeup line first and fix that problem first. But for the most part, yes, because like you said, it's the biggest organ, you know, and it's absorbing everything. So all those chemicals are going right inside.
Yeah, and also check out Nature Herself 369, my partner over here.
Oh my gosh, I love her copper face mask. Yes, she has some amazing natural products. Yes. Let's see.
Yeah, but you're the first person I've ever seen to actually have those natural. I'm like, oh, I never knew they made this.
Oh, I wish you remembered what it was that you saw.
I just remember the ingredient and be like mango or mango something. I don't know. I just saw a whole natural.
I feel like my perfumes too are natural. Like I have like rose quartz in the perfume, and then witch hazel, and like really natural lavender, you know? So yeah. Let's see. Rastas live in the mountains, love Jamaica. Yes. So someone said in the mountains are where the real healers are. That's exactly true. That's where Jesus lived. And the reason is because the frequencies are much less dense up there. And so they can, because people who are healers, they're very spiritually in tuned. And so all the lower frequencies here on earth would disrupt that, and they can't heal as well. Hence why they go up into those mountains.
Yeah, Jen, where she's from, the Philippines, it's actually her specific village. Everyone's activated. Where you go to a witch doctor, if you have something this or that, it's normal there because there's less EMF pollution and things of that nature over there.
The veil is thinner. And so these, exactly, the spiritual gifts, you can, 1, you feel them more, 2, they work more. Yes. I would love to live in a place like that. That's my goal in the future. Someone said, truth hurts sometimes. Yes, but the truth is worth it. Let's see. Let's see. Someone said, wow, white matter in the heart, that's so cool because we have white matter in our brain, the corpus callosum, too. Right. Truth doesn't need permission of friends, 100%. Someone said humans need friends, not truth. That's funny because that's a really interesting point. I think that's why people don't tell the truth, because they need friends.
Ooh.
Puree_paradise. I didn't even think of that, but your comment just made me think of that. And that's a good point. You know, because I always notice that, like, why I think about, like, why do we always have to lie? Because that's what causes so much hurt and pain. But really, it's because, like, some people lie because they want to pump themselves up and seem cooler than they are to have friends. You know what I mean? Some people lie because they want to stay safe and not have people judge them and stop being friends with them. So I think that's a big reason why people do that too. That's
I just want to share, if you ever have to get to that point where you quote unquote feel alone, just remember your breath is one of your closest friends. That helped me detach from toxic people in my past life and helped me spring out to where I am.
And if you never did that, you wouldn't be who you are today.
Exactly.
How did you do that, Devin? Because I know that's so hard. Like the pain of loneliness when you're leaving those toxic people, that path. How did you overcome those feelings? You said with the breath?
Yeah, the breath, you know, in terms of loneliness, you know, one may perceive loneliness, it's like you're missing something. It's like you're missing a quote unquote feeling, right? So the more I got into my breath, the more I could feel my body. But I felt that I was never alone at that point. The more I could feel my feelings in itself and how emotions would run through me. And emotions is really running through your body 24/7, 365, unless you're one of those people that may have like a stuck emotion always, and you're always in that state of mind, and you don't have that continuous flow. And that's when you start to build up blockages and maybe have that ideology that you may need a certain thing or certain someone to feel complete. When in actuality, if you can feel the complete flow of energy, then you are in harmony with what is or perceived as quote unquote complete.
So that's a really good point. And Joe Dispenza talks about that a lot. He talks about how when you get into that state of meditation and bliss where you feel so whole in yourself, you're like, you're never needing again. Because you're like, oh my gosh, to be in my own company is huge. This feels, you get this euphoria in your body when you really start to tap in. Have you felt that before?
I feel it all the time.
Yeah.
Feel it all the time.
That's amazing.
And that's what got me to say that I don't care if you know me here and there. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? That's a question I want to know. Can you feel me?
Exactly. I don't want to know, do you think this is right? I want to know, can you feel this?
Exactly.
That's the heart. Yes. So someone said, how would I use your frequency subscription for RNA healing?
Oh yeah, so literally.
Hey, Natalia. Julia.
Oh, it's going out because I plugged it out. But literally, there's like presets on here. Oh, they're all going off like crazy. So manage presets. Right now, we have RNA, DNA running right there. So that's the main one we have right now. If you choose to send a photo, picture, etc.
How would I use your frequency subscription for RNA healing? So you're saying you would be playing it on that device? And you take a picture?
No. So you would email me the picture, and then I would actually put on the scalar wave. This isn't the scalar wave. This is only the tablet that goes into the amplifier, and then it connects to the scalar wave machine.
I feel like you're a little Tesla over there.
Oh, wait till you come over here and you feel it for yourself and you walk
Oh, I
inside.
can't wait. I'm never gonna want to leave. So someone
Yeah,
said, yeah.
but I did a video where you can see the scalar machine. It's literally on my page.
There you go. That's how you can find more on that. Someone said loneliness or the idea that comes from attachments. And what attaches? Your ego.
Mm.
Someone, if you're living with toxic people and you can't physically avoid them, is it still, let's see, possible to heal or raise your frequency? Devin, do you want to take that?
So there was a point in time where I lived with roommates that weren't on the quote-unquote same frequency at a point in time, right?
Yep.
And I look at that as a challenge. And some people may be in worse situations. I totally understand that. But you can look at it as a challenge, and that's a constant reminder. Be like, hey, I'm accepting more of the opposite of what I'm experiencing. So let me accept more of that energy, so to speak, and work on it every single day until you're no longer part of that frequency and you work on what you need to work on. Maybe that in itself is life, quote unquote, showing you, I need to work on this. I need to accept more of the opposite of this if you truly don't, resonate or like what you're going through.
Exactly, and maybe it's preparing you for something in the future, because in life, you're not going to have this perfect, divine, easy path, It's not, once you raise your vibration, it's not like, wow, everything is so easy. Although that kind of is true in a certain way when you're on a certain frequency and tuned into it, like you walk into the right opportunities and all that. But still, adversity exists. We're on this material plane, so you don't want to ignore that.
I can pinpoint when I was angry. This was about 2 months ago, and it's been a long time since I've been angry.
Wow.
And and it literally started out when we went back to our friend's place. He owns this art gallery here in Miami, but he moved out like 2 days afterwards. So we still parked there because we're like, oh, he still owns a place or whatever. But our car got towed, and the tow truck was like right there with our car. So we went over to the tow truck, and we noticed the guy wasn't in there until he came out the Verizon store, and we said, oh yeah, that's our car. Our friend owns a place over there. Must be a misunderstanding. And he said, okay, yeah, 1 minute. And then he goes into the car, into the tow truck, drives, makes a right. And we're like, all right, let's walk over there and meet up with him. And then he just drives off to the towing company. So in my head, I'm like, oh man, I'm really furious. I'm like, oh, what? That's a savage. That's a pure savagery. That was what pissed me off. It wasn't the fact that he towed the car. It was the fact that he didn't even give us a chance to
It was the way he did it. Yeah,
it was the way he did it.
Like, come on, where's your humanity?
So I went to the place, and I'm looking at the guy at the counter, and I noticed, like, it's one of those places that they definitely take advantage. It's like what's happening in Jersey, where your car was flooded out in the middle of the road, and then a tow company, not even connected to the police station, will come tow it and then bill you and say, you have to pay for us to tow your car that was in a huge storm. Like, what? And it was just one of those companies that I could tell, like, oh, people definitely sued. Like, you read the reviews, like, people are trying to sue them. So I could have went off at this guy's health, the guy behind the counter. I could have went off on his health, all this type of stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's not me. That's not me. And all this inner reflection started to happen. And I just channeled it somewhere else. I just went into a little mini breathwork session. And I realized that happiness, anger, sadness, they're all energy at one specific time. They all resonate in your body a certain way, right? But it's how you move with it that you can transmute it into a state of bliss and energy.
Yes, and going back to tie into the question about when you live with toxic people and you can't physically avoid them, like Devin's case, you could take that energy. I don't know how these people make you feel. I don't know if they make you feel belittled. I don't know if they make you feel depressed, angry. There's so many things they could be making you feel. But take that energy, like Devin said, because it's an energy, and then transmute it and use it to create something for yourself. I don't know what you're creating, but you're probably creating something, because we're co-creators here, whether it's financial freedom, whether it's better relationships, whether it's a new life to get away from them. You're creating that. Your wish is your command, you know? You're able to manifest your life, and so that's what you need to do with that energy. It's actually, maybe it's a blessing. Maybe that's exactly why you have that situation, because this is what you're supposed to do. You need to take those toxic people and use your energy towards them and then get out of it. And I've done that in my life too, so I'm speaking from experience.
Yes, sister, I know.
Let's see. Someone said they pulled some cards today talking about this. No coincidences. Right, Devin?
Oh, okay. Think.
Someone asked how to strengthen their stomach energy center.
Oh, that. So the beauty of nasal breathing versus mouth breathing in terms of alchemy breathwork, the air, your breath goes straight to your diaphragm. There's no lag time versus mouth breathing. Mouth breathing, there's going to be a lag, goes into your chest a little bit. Some air gets stuck in there and doesn't go all the way down to the diaphragm. So you can even be paraplegic, because I've actually witnessed it. I don't talk about it too much, but this lady, she was like, I have feeling in my lower legs. Like, I can feel my lower legs. And this paraplegic in Clubhouse, she was telling me this. I'm like, whoa. And that's not the first time I've heard that one, but it was just powerful in the sense of your lungs, your breath. You know, breath is life force. And the more you can pay attention to it, you can pay attention to how it moves in and out your body. And it creates experiences like that and more connection to places that need more healing at that point in time.
Yes. Gosh, Devin, that's incredible. You help someone feel in their legs again. That
had me.
You said it so casually. That's amazing. It really is. And you know what? We are able to heal. Like, they talked about how, you know, Jesus was a healer, but we can do everything Jesus can. You just have to have that belief in the healing, and then that can happen to you. But in this matrix, we've been so conditioned to be disempowered and not believe, and that's why we are getting stuck and we're not healing as we should. But it's all changing, so that's the good news. Let's see. Someone said toxic and unsafe abuse are not the same, right? Yep. Yeah, the people that are toxic are literally, you know, abusing you in any way. Leave as soon as possible. It's not love, it's control and manipulation, and you need to get somewhere safe. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Devin, do you know what Hara breathing is? H-A-R-A?
Hera breathing?
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I don't know specifically what it is, no.
Okay, someone's talking about it on here, but I'm not really sure either. Okay. Someone said, what are some breathwork techniques that I can use while I'm running or walking? What would you say is the best way?
I have some, but one simple one you can do, simply running. Walking, it can be a regular inhale, but for the inhale, you can do 3 partial in-breaths. So, Kim's favorite.
I know, I love it.
Literally while you're walking, going back and forth.
Yes.
I'm sorry, running. Walking-wise, if you have a steady pace that you're walking, you can just be a regular inhale, and the 3 partial breaths is fine.
Yes. Someone said everything in the body regenerates in time. Exactly. Our bodies are self-healing mechanisms. It has its own intelligence. You don't need a subscription most of the time.
Exactly. And that's what scalar wave does. It harmonizes with your natural occurrent body. It doesn't use man's energy. It uses nature's energy.
Right, which is God's. Nature is
Exactly.
God. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow, guys. I love it. You got a good audience, Devin. People are very active on your channel.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for hopping on.
Yeah, we're going to end it here. Yeah.
And I'll see you in a couple days, sis.
Yeah, see you in a couple days, Devin. Thank you guys for joining. All the great questions. Hope you guys feel
Peace.
Love, good energy, and learn some things, okay? Peace. See you. Bye-bye.